Hey folks, we're live. Hope you've had a good Friday, enjoyed your week. Good to have you here. Glad to be Friday. Glad to be Friday. Good to have oh, I need to turn these lights down, don't I? Always forget. Since I found out that the lights are a bit bright for the stream. Let's turn that down to, there we go. Yeah, we like that. Evening, buddy, and all in chat. Hey, Max, how's it going, dude? Looking forward to the yo 100th Unity stream. Hey, bots. Yeah, looking forward to the classic cars next week. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. But it is the 100th Unity stream. Yes, it's been a fun journey, learning stuff, breaking stuff, fixing stuff, learning why the stuff broke in the first place. But off stream last week, I worked out what was crashing Unity and crashing the game, which is good. There's over the weekend, I spent some time, and I worked out I was basically making the physics engine have a panic attack. So I fixed that, and now the game doesn't crash, which is awesome. So today is just kind of tidying a few things up and making sure it all runs as far as I'm aware. Then I'll compile it, put it in my Discord. People can download it, and kind of see how it plays. It's only going to be like a short demo, but we've learnt things from that. We've made improvements since the last demo I put out. So yeah, let's move over to Unity, and we'll get going with this. And official VR, I saw you came in a little bit early. Apologies, not going live. I usually try and go a little bit live, going live a little bit earlier on a Friday. I forgot that's up, isn't it? Let's close the code for a second. Code is over there. I don't want the code over there. I want the code over here. Full screen and then minimize. Cool. Yeah, normally try and go live a little bit early on a Friday, but today I just needed to sort some things out first. Well, but excited to play a demo. Ooh, yeah, excited for you guys to play it. Last time we put a demo out, it came up with the Windows issue of saying, well, this hasn't been signed by Microsoft, and therefore we think it might be dodgy. But usually you can get past that. You go, yes, I don't care, so just let me run the thing. So hopefully that doesn't hinder people too much. And I say I would like to then make it multi-platform once we know it runs okay. But there's a lot of things that I made improvements over the weekend as well. Trying to move away from looping and checking booleans. A lot of things in this, when I built it, is it keeps looping, and as soon as a boolean goes true, it does a thing. I've swapped out for event calls instead, so it calls an event when something happens and not constantly checking it. Key signing things literally all indigos. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad it's not just something I'm not getting. We have it at work. The application I've built for people in the office to use at work has exactly the same thing. And I've looked into it, and apparently the only way is for it to be recognized or pay a lot of money. And we're not paying a lot of money for Microsoft. We barely pay anything for the staff. I sell emotes. Hey Lisa, you sell the best emotes. What's up, neighbour? Hey Jeffrey, how's it going? Hope you're both well. Happy Friday. We have a little bit of classical music just to chill, relax. So the demo will be Windows only initially. If I get time, I'll try and compile it, because I don't think I can compile it for Linux on Windows. I have to run it through a distro of some sort. Friday the 13th, all are amazing. Nice. Was it 2 in a row this year? Yeah. Got to be some good luck there, surely. February, March. I also did Grindcore EP Essential. I saw the message. Haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Pretty sure Wine will able to run it. Cool. It should do. I don't think it's going to be too hefty. The final game I would like to get compiled for Linux as well. And I'll have a go at trying to get it compiled on Mac. And so I'll have to import the project into a Mac instance and do it that way. But it's nowhere near the finished product. But I think this is as close. It's getting closer to what I had envisioned for this. 2 Friday the 13th in a row. It's just a testament to how crazy 2026 is. Yeah, it is a crazy year. Crazy year. Just send it to me. I got all the errors. Zuno. Oh yes, yeah. Build it for you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I can send you the project. Just literally send compile out, and it should be happy. It's I can understand it, but it's frustrating that you can only compile it for an OS on the OS it's compiling for. But that's better than it was going back many years. That you can only compile it on the hardware that it would use. That's sort of old software development. You can only compile it for the hardware you're using and not for the operating system. So that must have been quite challenging. Listen to the EP's grindcore. So 4-song grindcore release means 5 minutes only. You would like it. Awesome. I will listen to it. Yeah, I literally only saw it before because I opened Discord shortly before streaming. Went, that's that. I could have played it earlier, but I didn't see it. More chaotic than my black metal EP from last month. Oh. And when you like it, please buy emotes. Supports the project. You are but a humble emote maker. Need to sell emotes. Cool thing about Godot is you compile to multiple platforms, iOS, Mac, of course. Ooh, except Mac. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, Mac is one of those weird things. Yeah, I think you might be able to do Windows and Linux, or I don't know. I did look into it. Apparently, it's not as easy. Linux build on Windows and Mac. I could try doing a Linux build, like the actual project. I'm not sure if you can see it on the stream. I don't think you can. You can't actually see the window. You can only see the actual thing. But yeah, the actual the project title on the window actually says for Windows, Mac, Linux using Unity 6.3. But if you go to actually compile it for Mac, it goes, you haven't got the required files for that. And you can only get the required files by installing the Mac OS. But I could try compiling it for Linux. I know. But I do have a Linux machine anyway, so not an issue. Well, you shouldn't have a problem running your game, and Proton also won't have a problem running it, so cool. Good to know. There's always a way around these things. Yeah, the only one bug I'm aware of in the game at the moment, as opposed to any missing features or tidying up otherwise, is the projectiles menu. So we'll run the game. We'll just see it in action. First, get a game finished before you break your brain on what OS release. Turn that down. The release on, because I'm one of the people to remember this as a 1-month test project before other game. Yes. Mr. 100th week. Yes. Yeah. You want to be breaking brains. But this is a good test project, because I can do all the painful discovery on this, and they do recommend kind of doing the full process from start to finish on a game that isn't your kind of desired game. Like, whatever game you have in your head to make, that I want to make this game, don't make that game. Make another game that's simple and you can complete from start to finish, do the whole process. Even to the point where they will fully release it, even put it on Steam, even if it's not that good, so you learn all the processes and then put all your time and effort into something that you really want to do. And I didn't really want to make this as a full game, but might as well take the opportunity. That advice is so good, I'm not going to follow it. Yeah, so many people just go, you know what, I just want to make a game and just try and make that game, and go, so much work involved, I'm going to give up. My grandchildren will tell through a Ouija board how Moongate Mage will be. Yeah, I saw an advert for a game. Has it just come out? It's been 9 years in development by solo dev. 9 years. Now, I don't want Moongate Mage to be a 9-year project, but if I don't put time into it, it might be. So I'm gonna have to really get moving with it. So we're playing the game. The game's been playing for 2.5 minutes now. So the thing that we need to check is this. So in level 1, we actually see all the items, and we can change to a box, a barrel, chair, bar barrels, which quite heavy hitters, chicken, which sounds just like a rocket. Turn down a bit. So we do need to get better sounds for this, but this is not a bug. It's kind of it's an improvement I need to make. So ideally I need to find sounds that represent these better. I've been more committed to my horror game. It's actually surprising me, because I can just hop in the editor, work on a bit, and I naturally go into a flow, which is amazing. Awesome. It's always pleasant that you can just pick up a project and just go with it. Not go, oh, I really should do that. I don't really feel like it. For other projects, after a week or two, I give up. Yeah. I've had so many things like that. So, well, I'm going to do this, and the motivation just isn't there. I found streaming this, even if it has taken 100 streams, has been more motivating, because it means, well, today's stream I need to do some of this. And even if it's like a case where I don't really feel like it, I either don't stream and don't do anything, or I actually do stream and make progress. Right, so I'm quite happy. Level 1 seems to be fine there. Let's load up level 2. Go to projectile. So level 2 is all showing rocks. So I need to work out what's going wrong here. And level 3, I'm guessing, will be the same. Let's check level 3. Yeah, so level 2 and level 3 is not loading these. So we know it's not a game-wide issue. Let's go back to level 2. It might be just missing a reference somewhere. So metal contains progress game values. That's all fine. It's going to be into the UI. Let's have a look under that. Does the rocks get set by code in the panel? Yes. So I've got an object that holds all the different rock objects. And it's that code runs and pulls them in. So the idea being I can just change the object and the code will just pick up and carry on. So I think I'm missing something somewhere. So those are all the buttons. So projectile selection is the menu, lock status, rock attributes. There we go, rock attributes. The rock attributes is the same object, so it shouldn't be any difference. It's not like the code or the object is different between levels. So rock attributes, because that's rock attributes there. So rock attributes has all the rock objects in. So we got stone, crate, barrel, chair, barbell, chicken, panda, pumpkin. They're all in there, and that gets called by this down here. And then when it opens this up, it should then populate the buttons with that. So let's have a look at the script. So we got the menu itself, and we have the buttons, and we have the attributes. So we've got selecting, button push, buttons. So it's here, isn't it? So that gets the button. So cycles around the buttons. Then projectile button. That is the button. Unlock status. Am I missing something there then? Select projectile. So that's when its button is pushed. So it gets the current rock object. Object to control. Sets it. Oh, is it? So let's compare that to level 1. See if we're missing anything on that. Because we've hard coded get components. Okay, no, that's fine. Because to start with, I had many objects with that tag. I only wanted the first one it came to. Let's double check that. So there should only be one object with the tag of rock, which is over here. Yes. because that is not tagged as rock. Rock, that is just an object. So it grabs this up here. So this rock object in the top left here is an empty with all the it's got the rigid body, got the collider, and it's got the script. So in itself it's got everything needed, and all I'm doing is swapping out the mesh. So basically set a mesh inside of it. It has no collider, it's just literally a mesh. So that's when it swaps out, and we know that works. So why isn't the panel? Projectile selection is the menu panel. I don't really need to link it there because I can grab it from it's in itself, but quite a few objects are like this because I followed it from an old tutorial which they showed doing that, but I've since learned that actually as long as this script is attached to the object you want to influence, you don't really need that. It's supposed to be a stupid bug ever, yeah. It's usually the most simplest thing or the most complicated and confusing thing ever. Or something you fix by accidentally discovering something else. But that object there is a prefab. So it's the same across the board. No in between. Oh no. We can't solve it straight away. It's usually one of the extremes. So the lock status object here, that is literally a series of booleans and whether the players unlock them. So we do have the lock status object. There's the lock status. Projectile lock status. Yeah, it's just a series of booleans. So if I untick these, and then you have that. Console log over. Yeah, it's going to have to be, I'm afraid. I've unticked those. If I go back to level 1. What's my levels? Scenes. Now I've unticked those booleans. Go back to level 1 and run it. Be right back, dog time. Okie dokie. So we're now playing. We go to projectiles. Aha. So that is a bug as well there. So I've unticked them. There should be silhouettes. So something's still not quite right there anyway, even on level 1. Which in some ways is reassuring. And also it adds more complication because we go, well, there is more to this. Yes, dog walk time, okie dokie. So we take a couple of those. And we close projectiles and reopen it. They come up there. Close that, take a couple more, reopen it, they're there. Now what should be here is actually the silhouettes. So if I close that, untick them again, they should be seeing silhouettes and not blanks. Now interestingly there, something's wrong, that's reassuring, yeah. Always reassuring. So they're still there, even though they're not ticked. Do you delete the images or clear them on open? That is a good point. I don't think I've actually tested for reducing them, only for adding them. So let's have a look for the process. So so on start, it unlocks these. We then have a single button, projectile button. So projectile button is a Because reducing is such a strange edge case, yeah. Yeah, it's probably something I've not even considered. So it's not really something to worry about. Not showing the silhouettes is definitely an issue, because that is a thing. Okay, here's a button itself. So the button should be handling its own thing here. So the button will have the unlocked image and the locked image and have an ID. So we go over here. We'll go to the UI, go to the projectiles and go to the buttons. Yeah, there we go. We've got the sprites here. Oh, interesting. They've all got, oh yeah, so I put them as defaults. Okay, yes, so they all have the default sprite because that gets populated from the objects. The idea being I could decide in the future, actually, I don't want a pumpkin. I want something else. I don't have to go through and change the UI because the code reads it. So that's fine. They're not supposed to have anything in there. So they're okay there. That's how I designed that. So by default, they got the default images in there. Oh yeah, this is where we were playing around with the getter setters. So Boolean proj unlocked returns the is unlocked Boolean when you get it. So that's a property. Yeah. So I think this is the only real place I've used a property. Most of the time I just use methods to kind of handle this. So the value of the property is true. Then check to see if the object is loaded. So is the button loaded? If so, set the image sprite as the unlocked image. Otherwise, if the unlock is false, and if it is not loaded, then set the locked image. Now, what did I do that for there? So where does loaded come into this? Okay, so on awake, we find any object by type projectile selection. So that grabs the menu. So it grabs the menu, has a handle for it. So we set the locked image from projectile selection.rock attributes. Get locked image by ID, and then whatever ID the button is. So if this is button 0, button 1, button 2, button 3. Grabs the ID, says what is the locked image for that ID. Then gets the unlocked image for that ID. Found the bug. Just a quick question. You're writing C#? Yes. What have I missed? So set lock image literally grabs that, puts it into the locked image, like I see unlocked image, button pressed, pushes the button. To my knowledge, C# isn't a truthy falsy language. So if value only checks if the value variable exists and not its value. Oh. You have to do if value is true. Okay, it'll be worth a try. We do that and we go for the loaded as well. So not, rather than not loaded, just loaded is false. Yeah, put those in. It's always worth a try. Let's check the rest of this. So this is where it picks up the different images. So when it sets the locked image, sets the unlocked image. I think, not sure. It is worth a try. Nothing's wrong if you give it a go. It doesn't work, you try something else. If that's a compile. Cool. Now it's compiled. Let's find the rock attribute. So not that one. Projectile locks. There we go. So we should have a revealed lock, unlocked image followed by a lot of locked images. Give that a save. Cool. Test row. Projectiles. They all still acting as buttons, which is good. We can select the only one that is selectable. We unlock those two, go projectiles. It'll give us those ones to play with. But we can't select any of those, which is the intention, that if they're not unlocked, we can't select them. So functionally it works that way. Interestingly weird indeed. So on awake, so the button push, we know this works because when you hit the button, that works. We're happy with that. That line there is fine. And by extension, that must be fine. So these two lines here, we know must be fine because the button clicking works. Loaded equals true. I'm assuming it'll set it, whether it gets used or not. What we have questions on is this process here. We know that's fine. So we've got two functions here, which should be simple enough. Takes a sprite as a parameter, sets the sprite to the actual internal. So we could see that, couldn't we? We could actually have a look, because we'll see these down here change. Let's run it again. So when this button is woken up, so we go to that now wakes up, and we can see rock image 1, rock image 2, locked, because there isn't actually a locked image for 1, because you should never have it locked, because you start off with that rock. So I suppose in theory, for kind of standardizing, I should have a locked image, which is just the same image. Or I could do a locked image as well, it doesn't matter. It never gets used. So button 2 has that image, button 3 has that image. Button 4 does have the image 4 though. It's showing rock images 4 locked and unlocked. 5 is the same, 6, 7 and 8. So the names of the images are there. It's not applying them though. So it is setting it. So we stop that. So within the code, these two variables are being set. Now button is set externally anyway. That is fine. Projectile selection, that would have to be fine to set those two images. How quickly can you quickly show that if statement? This one up here. So the idea being, if this property proj unlocked is called and set, when you set it, if the value is true and loaded is true, then we want to take the unlocked image and set it to the image sprite. So this is ran inside the projectile selection. So from the actual panel, so the projectile panel, we've made that visible. So this panel, when this panel is opened, it runs this script here. So on start, it runs this, creates a button object, and cycles around all the buttons. It grabs the button, gets the projectile button script, sets it as that object, and then here it sets a status, and that's either true or false, which then sends that into this if statement. And the true or false comes from that tick boxes. So effectively, yes, when the panel opens, it cycles through those tick boxes. Hello, how's it going, MHL? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Friday. We're bug squishing today. I'm good, glad to hear. Very good, thank you. It's Friday, we can relax, we can chill. We can kind of take our time a little bit. No worries. Now I could take this debug log out and actually see this in the console. I see the bug. Need to get ourselves a bug emote, don't we? You only set the locked image if the button isn't loaded. Ah. Yes. Yes, that is odd. Yeah. I've been starting to make roguelite game the past few days, and so I'm trying to get a movement down, but slopes have been quite the issue. Oh, I've heard this, yeah. I've seen some devlogs from people making platformers with slopes, and they're a nightmare. Isn't supposed to be the case. Yes, that is a very good point. So There is unlocked. So what case would you have the false for? What is the false? So if it's false, so loaded is set when woken up. So I think what this is to make sure this doesn't run unless this has run. One statement, yeah, one statement at the top to see if it is loaded or and just return. Good point. So if we move this if statement outside of, oh, we need to engage the clipboard. Now, go back, push the wrong keys. Do it now. Okay, back. So grab that. Done it again. Perks of coding live, yeah. You need to look at the keys. Paste. There we go. We'll do that. Keep that happy, and we'll right. So we want everything basically to be inside there. The loaded false no longer needs to apply, because if it's false, it's just going to not run. Anyway, what game are you making, if you don't mind explaining it? Of course. This is my first kind of proper attempt at a game. So we're learning as we go here, and it's my 100th stream on learning. Basically, bar a couple of sort of hours here and there, I've done most of my learning on stream. And this is, oh wow, nice. Yeah. So I'm kind of learning as I go with this. So it's not great, and we're making progress. But the game itself is basic premise is you have a trebuchet. There are buildings owned by get unlocked. Set was unlocked. Let's try. Yes. There's buildings owned by landlords, lords of the land, kings, etc. They've been putting the taxes too high, so you have a trebuchet and you want to knock down their houses because you're not happy. It's not relating to anything in real life. That's expensive. True. Value is true. So that if not, and that just updates that value to the value that has been set. Cool. Cool. First time I heard the plot. Yes. I only mentioned the plot a couple of times, so we'll hide that object. Yeah, so that's the plan. I decided to make a plot for it. Now there is a whole extra thing of this. Go to the scenes. There's a whole intro scene that I've not actually finished working out how to do. It's got NPCs and everything. Wow, this should work. As for the past lot of minutes, yes. But yeah, yeah, I got an intro scene I haven't quite worked out. I am disappointed. Oh dear. What disappoints you? I return here. Hopefully the return isn't disappointing. No grindcore. Ah, you need to be playing it then. I don't know why the scene is... Oh, because I'm on the game scene. Not the actual scene. Yeah, so I made this little village. This is where the people live. And as you can see, some of the buildings are falling into disrepair. And the taxes keep going up. And the people aren't happy. So they hatch a plan to take down the Lord's house, basically. I've not finished making this. This was my test of how do I make a cutscene with NPCs and animation and all that. I've put that to the side so I can just focus on the gameplay. So the gameplay is very simple. You have a trebuchet, you have a projectile, and you have a building. Now run the game. Let's turn the music down and the sound effects down a bit. The controls are simple. You got a left, you have a right, and you have a power-up bar on the left-hand side. That currently, if you hold down the space bar and then release, holding down the space bar powers it up, releasing fires the rock. That's it really for controls. The end game is to hit all of the edges of the building. You can see they crack as you hit them. And once you've cracked all of the face of the building, it will then fall down. The bug is this projectile. Aha, look at this. There is currently 8 different projectiles to select. And only 3 of them are available. And the other ones, you click them, nothing happens. So that's a successful test. Today is my big celebratory day for me, along with the lines of Halloween. My birthday and second birthday. I treated myself. And no, I just don't want him to listen to my new release. I'll say yes. Yeah. You have a music addiction, don't you? Yeah, so that seems successful test there. 6 CDs and a long sleeve. What are they? Nice. Cool stuff. And many addictions. All healthy, I'm hoping. Mostly healthy, at least. Right. Fuck no. Grindcore is not healthy. Projectiles. Okay, so we fixed the silhouetting from level 1. Level 2 is still putting all of them. I mean, nicotine addiction needs to go. Yeah. Not really a good thing. Next game, Hope Junkie should make his rehab the game. Yeah, it's a game where you shoot a load of nicotine. Not yourself, but you shoot the nicotine, not shoot the nicotine. We're getting as far as shooting nicotine, something's gone seriously wrong. Right, so we still have a problem. But we found a bug and fixed a bug in the pursuit of fixing a bug. So we went to fix a bug, found another bug, fixed that bug, and now we're back to the first bug. So we know the code works, and that code is used across all levels. It is the variables now on each level that we need to consider. So what we can still do again is check this process. Second birthday is actually in 15 days. Ooh. Why is it the second birthday? Is it because you wanted to space it out a bit? Junk is going for the world record of saying bug in one sentence as much as possible. 28th of March, nice. It's a bug. Bug that bugs me. Is that Pin My Ride meme, isn't it? I heard you like bugs, so we put bugs in your bugs so you can bug while you bug. In a bug. No, it's my day I was religiously reborn in 2011. 5th December 1984. Oh, your birthday. Cool. Bug. I said I need a bug pop-up. I got a panda pop-up. So the panda pops up. I need a bug pop-up. Celebrate every year since 2011. Cool. Bug junkie. Like it. I'll have to use that in the future for something. Okay, we'll run this and then we'll test some variables out while it's in play mode. And we'll see what is going on. So as it stands, only the default image. We open the projectiles. It then changes to a rock image, but each of these buttons still has the same image as the first one. So as it's looping round, let's take these out and we can watch it do its thing then. Same button ID, yes. Oh, does it have the same button ID? It does. Good spot there, bot. That would be the issue. Go back to level 1. Let's definitely confirm the numbers. I did not see that. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Ah. It was the latter, wasn't it? It was the stupidly simple. At least we found another bug in the process though. So if I do this, it should work. Why don't increment in the for loop? Could do actually. That would make sense. Then I could actually put helps with scaling. Yeah, that's what I was about to say actually. It means like I could have more than 8 objects then. That's kind of what I was thinking in the future anyway, that it'd be nice for players to have lots of different things I can just add stuff. So let's have a look at that now then. So the button is public anyway. So when the selection comes through, so the buttons will have to be applied. We'll have to work out how a scaling way of applying the projectiles here. Probably the easiest thing to do would be to look at all children within the object. So because this is our main color controller, it should auto populate this array here based on the children here, ignoring the panel because the panel is just this back panel. But looking at children with an object sounds weird. Yes, it's always the fun thing when you consider children as game objects, and then the official terminology to remove an object which is a child from a main parenting object is to kill the object. And it's always funny to read that in code. Yeah, typically in computing terms, you want to remove or delete something. It's always to kill it. Does code also use slave like in math? Ancestors also exist. Yeah, true, yes. There's family terms are used a lot in hierarchies and stuff. I don't think code uses slave. No, I don't think I've come across that term in coding. Certainly in hardware. I know they've tried to move away from that terminology in hardware, but hardware typically uses that. Ah, too bad. Yeah. You can have like dependents and children. I would have liked slave children. Yeah, so we could write this. So it means, yeah, I could add as many as I want. The only thing with it is I would have to position these manually within this panel. Math has slaves? Yeah. I'm not too familiar with that terminology in math. Yes. Have you got an example actually of what would be a math slave? The economy about to boom. Yeah, we can think about scalability, but certainly as far as objects go, they can be brought in. The positioning of these buttons, as you can see at the top right here, is slightly different, so I'd still have to manually position them. But it would cut out having to make sure they're over here. I think for the demo you should use the current button ID. Yeah. Yeah, we know it works. We can look at scalability later, but that's certainly certainly useful to consider. I have a simpler method for solving this too. Ooh. Yeah, I try to, where possible, try and make this as scalable and reusable as much as possible. Just because I didn't know the direction it was going. Like, I started doing things and go, well, I don't know what this game is going to be or how it's going to be. So I just tried to make it scalable in places. And then once I started getting an idea of what I was going to do, I started kind of making it narrower again. But certainly helps to make it scalable at all points. Like the name of each button object should just be a number, and it checks the name of the object instead of having a button ID. Variable that you have to manually set. True. This works. Yes. No, I mean, yeah. So rather than button 1, it'd be button 0, and it just goes through. Okay, whatever the 0 is. It's been a while I did math since I switched to Art Academy. At some point instead of beta stuff. But I remember it's like in a big formula. The main thing is called the master. There's big calculating formula that then divides it into other parts to calculate smaller parts, but can't calculate on their own. Only what's told and helps within the formula. Those are slaves. Okay. Yeah, I'm not I've only done really basic school math. Translating directly from my own language, so I don't know if it's the same. Yeah, it might be called something different natively in English. Trying to think. I think there is a term that's used. It's sub might be substituent. I think I fixed my slope issue. Awesome. Yeah, I've never had to tackle the slope issue myself, and as you can see, this game has just very flat stuff. Just got rid of slope made stairs. Yeah, that's the simple way of doing it. Of course, you know that hard drives used to have master-slave cable. Yeah, it's far easy. Yeah, always go for the easy option, and then if you work out later, it's in there. It's like there's a lot of design choices which come down to whether it's hard or easy to achieve, not because you wanted it to be that way. But yeah, the old hard drives, the ribbon cable IDE hard drives, we had different positioning on the cabling, and wherever the positioning was is when the computer reads it as like hard drive 0, hard drive 1, hard drive 2, and whatever was hard drive 0 was the master hard drive, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. were all the slave hard drives. And only the master hard drive on hard drive 0 was for the operating system. That's a raid system. Hello there. How's it going? Ooh. You on there? Do apologise if that is horrendously wrong, but welcome in. But yeah, I know you can raid hard drives. Sage like, cool, thank you. Sounds Lord of the Rings-ish. Yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it? I can still use shallow slopes, but steeper slopes just need to be stairs. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, still working on that album. You know which one? Oh yes, cool. Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah, so I've seen devlogs of like trying to get a player down a slope, and like the gravity physics kind of make them jutter, and their feet kind of float because the whole hitbox of the object is still technically touching the slope, but it doesn't look right. I don't know how you get around it because I've not tried. What will you give me for my second birthday? A solid thumbs up. There's a unintended side effect of fixing stepping over small steps too. Okay. Best answer ever. In 3D, it's easier to work with slopes. Yeah, I suppose that the physics engine works quite well. But it all depends on which physics engine you're using and how it's being used, or whether you're making your own gravity. Because you don't have to have the built-in gravity if it doesn't serve your purpose. I'm quite happy using Unity's built-in physics engine, which is the entire game is based on the Unity physics engine, really. I learned how the physics engine worked and then made a game mechanic around that. So that's kind of how this came about. Is that, well, heavy rock has physics, it bounces, it has a velocity, apply velocity to object, allow physics to do the rest. And that's the entirety of the mechanics in this, really, is that the trebuchet is purely there for visuals, and the buildings are just there to stop the rock from moving and score how well you do things. Damn, Cortec Gamori gets a full solid thumbs up. Bug Junkie spoiling him for real. Bug Junkie, my mistake. Right, let's go back to level 2. Let's give us a test. And then we'll do a full run through. Cool, they're all in there. Now the real test, of course, if we go back to the object as well. Projectile, so we untick all but the first element. Go back into here. So we go to projectiles, we only have the rock unlocked. None of these are unlocked right now. Ah, wrong button. Start again. Now the idea being, you need to unlock these projectiles. Eyes back. Welcome back, Lisa. Yeah, you need to unlock these projectiles. Still sell emotes. Still sell the best emotes. Now the objects are actually within the levels. So you can see within this level, We have some crates piled up. We have some barrels over there. If we now throw a rock at those, the physics engine does its thing. They fall over. But we checked our projectiles now. There's now a crate in our options. Throw it at the barrels. Physics happens. Barrels fall over. We now have a barrel in our options. So basically there's a check to see if this object has been dislodged from its starting positioning. If it has, tick the relevant box over here, and because that's been ticked, it then goes into the menu, and that's how we get there. Make the waterfall a projectile. Oh, this one. You can actually, it's very hard to hit. But you do it, you get some interesting effects. You can go full kind of weird scenarios where, like, hitting the tree unlocks the tree for the projectile. Can we expect release today? Yeah, I'd say so. Let's do a full start to finish test, because that was the last bug that I'd found. So go back to the main menu, all the way back to the main menu. It's been snowing all day today. Oh wow! Whereabouts are you then? Where's the snow? I know there's supposed to be snow somewhere in the UK. Washington. Oh, nice. Now I've heard so we're getting quite a bit of snow over there. Same question. I want snow. Hasn't snowed in months. I know you had it pretty bad earlier in the year. We had a little bit of snow. We had a dusting of snow. We had the powdered sugar of snow. So the UK doesn't get a lot of snow anymore. If we do, it comes down in a vast amount, and the entire infrastructure stops. Because we get snow so infrequently, people don't know how to deal with it. As farther south and farther east than I am. Okay. I've never seen snow ever. Oh, wow. I remember when I was younger, there was about 2 feet or 60 centimeters of snow. And that pretty much stopped everything. People couldn't really drive without the roads being cleared. And there's big, like, trucks going down clearing roads, and you don't tend to see that very often. At most, we tend to get a truck spreading rock salt just to dissolve some of the ice. Right, we have main menu. We've got new game, continue, options, and quit. Now, continue brings up our level select. So that crashes. So what we need to do is actually prevent it from any levels that don't exist yet. We need to prevent it from selecting. Load scene. So how do I do a check to see if a scene exists? That'll be a nice error catch. Godot just told me 1.86 megabytes is big for one scene. Oh. Am I going to ignore it? Yes. Yeah, so nothing's too big as long as you're aware of the issues with a higher sized scene. Obviously, the bigger scene is, the longer it takes to load, more resources. But that's for optimization later. So I want to see, does this exist? I might have to Google this one. Let's do a quick Google. Unity scene manager. Check if scene exists. Read write just takes longer to load. Okay. Godot offers a binary format which is so much more optimized. Ooh, can't check directly. Okay. I could do a try catch. Better use game manager with unlocked scenes or like a hash set string with your scene. Okay. Yeah, so actually to know whether a scene would exist before you check to see if you try before you try to load the scene. Yeah, so I could do with having those scenes in many ways, but it's like ideas going fast. Yeah, makes sense. There are people discussing this as well. I found the Unity forums to be very helpful. You can try getting the scene. To get scene. And if it returns nothing, just realize your nickname. Live nickname. Try scene, get scene where this is valid but always results in false. So it only works scene is loaded. Okay. Okay, you can use get scene if the scene is an active scene. That makes sense. Try catch for this is crazy, yeah. You can loop through all the scene in build setting get scene path by index. Check that too. Oh, okay. What's going to be the best way to do this? Yeah, just reading this in the form now, actually. You can use scene path for scene in build index. So for loop, scene manager dot scene count in build settings. The scene utility dot get scene path by build index. I so build index is scene utility dot get build scene by index path. Name of path to scene. Okay, so you could the scene path you can actually put the name in. We know the index you can directly check the index though. True. I would like to make sure the index is line up, but I wouldn't like to be reliant on it. That's the only thing. But you can actually pull the index of a scene by name. So we could try that. So we have the name. We can find the index of the scene. And apparently if it returns -1, there is no index. Could try that. So based on this example we're looking at, so int build index. Yeah, basically that, but not quite. Get scene by name build index. So that only works if the scene's loaded. So what we actually want is scene utility rather than scene manager. Oh, drop that down, yeah. Predictive stuff sometimes work. Utility dot get build by scene path assets scenes level name dot unity. I think the better way is compare index with what actually by name in folder. That's the safest way, but the longer. The name in the folder. So this as this is here. Should that probably? Sorry, my English, French there, and a little drunk. That's okay. Thank you for the help, though. Never have to apologise for that. Let's kill that. So this gets the scene path. So assets scenes level name dot unity should be the actual path. That should be the full path. By the way, to compare the index with the actual name. So yeah, in theory, I should set the indexes relevant to the actual levels in the build index. I can't guarantee that's going to be the case. We can try this and see how that looks. Going a bit croaky there. I have to have a drink in a sec, but still have a cold cup of tea. In theory, I like in theory. The theory is not proven until we give it a go. But basing what I'm reading on this forum here, we put an if statement in here and go if build index greater than -1, then we want to load the scene. That's what the forum's saying anyway. Depends if that actually is the path, whether the AI come up with the wrong thing. So assets scenes level name. Let's stop on that. I think that's right, isn't it? Asset scene level name, yes. So that's the right path. Reference script unknown on this behavior is missing. Pause. Don't know what it refers to. Scripting. Associated script on this cannot be loaded. This could not be. This could be because the script has a compile error or the script has detail fixing compile errors. Okay. Well, this is the only script we've worked on. Do rebuild the solution. Wow. Let's save and run it. Okay, it's not breaking. And it loads the level. We might have done the catch on that. I don't know if that's the most efficient or the best way of doing it. But it's not allowing it to error. It just check the build index of that and if it's greater than -1, try and actually load it. So that covers that then. What I do want to do with that menu. I'm lost. What burg are you up against? So what we had, it shouldn't get to this stage, but if you try to load a scene, or in this case a level name, that does not exist. So we only have level 1, level 2, level 3. If I try to load level 8 as a scene, all of them probably, yeah. Yeah, we try to load level 8. Level 8 does not exist. I have not made level 8. So it'll crash and go, there's no level 8, can't load it. But we've solved that by checking, is there a level 8 file, by finding out what the build index of that actual scene is. Now, if there isn't actually a scene to get a build index, it will return -1. So we want a build index that's greater than -1 to confirm it exists and has a build index. If you allow it, I can give you a paste bin points to not having strings hard in code. Okay, yeah, I think the bot might grab you. You can try. I should see it anyway. Even if you post it and it kind of deletes it, I'll still see the link. It's going like that, but if you move a scene, rip. Yeah, like if I take a scene out of here, yes, yeah. As it is, that's where they are now. But if I move it, bang, it's gone. I've lost my mouse. Where's your mouse gone? Team stuff thinking, yeah. There's bound to be somebody do something. There's no point to move a scene for sure. Yeah, it's better to think as if somebody's going to actually work on it later, because this is a good exercise, because even if you're the only person going to work on this, past you and future you can almost be two different people, and you can't trust either of them. You could do something in the past and have reasonable logic and thinking of why you do that, but if future you doesn't remember that or understands it, then you could do something like move the scene, go, oh, I'll just move the scenes over here, and go, why is my game broken? And then you remember, yes, I did this, didn't I? Or you can do something in the past which makes life harder for you in the future and go, why did I do that then? It's kind of reflex, that's good to have. Oh yes, yeah, definitely. And I only work with one other person. Like my manager at work is the only other person that I share code with. So we usually have a good method between us, but I always try and make it so if somebody else joined the team, they could carry on without breaking anything. I don't usually use my mouse while coding, but I need it to play. Don't remember where I put it. It's not on my desk, which makes me very worried. Oh no, it's run off somewhere. So like something like that, paste bin, blah 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 blah. Be right back, okie dokie bot. It's not deleted it. That's good. I must have tamed the bot. The bot was going for blood, so to speak, on Wednesday. Boolean if scene exists, scene name, scene manager settings, and then just if scene exists, scene manager. Awesome. Okay, I shall copy that if you don't mind. We'll whack that in here. We'll keep that in there because that might be useful for something else in some other capacity, and we'll do that as well. And we go cool. That is pretty much what you said there. Scene load, scene async. Yeah, because I had the async deny on there. Scene name, and it's dropped in an error message for me. I am quite happy with Copilot. Sometimes it gets it wrong though. Oh, you found it! Yay! Glad you found the mouse. For sure, they're there to share and learn. Awesome, thank you. Like that, you can just have string in the inspector and move your scenes anywhere. Thank you. Yeah, this is all these kind of things that I wouldn't have known how to do this initially, and this is, as you say, a far better method. Because it will just kind of check no matter where they are, really. So let's give that a test. We've saved that. So we should get a console message if we click on something that isn't there. Yeah, game is not saved. Marking game is saved. Updating level progress. Yeah, I have to check the save features as well. So we go select level 8. Scene level 8 does not exist in build settings. So it's come up with that error log. Did I put it as a? Oh yeah, I put log error. Silly me. That's supposed to be just log, not log error. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's kind of stuff that we don't use much, but when you found it, it's like you keep it. Yeah. Why is it still coming up with that? It's odd. Try that again. Let's save. Yeah, there's certain things. Yes, certain things you just kind of just reuse and go, well, that's just useful to keep that as a practice. Open console. So this should log it. Yes. Scene level 8 does not exist in build settings. Cool. It continues. I can click these and goes, yep, does not exist, does not exist, no, not exist. Clicking 3, however, it does exist. Loads level. That's a far better method. Thank you. I'll certainly use that going forward as well. And in my other projects, I'll make sure that's in there. This is a nice nice little function, just a level select thing. So we're happy with that. What I would like for the level select, however, which it kind of should stop it from happening in the first place, is to kind of grey them out and go, well, so these levels are there but not available to you right now. But because it's a demo, they just won't be there anyway. But I want to make a load of levels. Like, it's not just going to stay as 3 levels. 3 levels was a nice round number. It's kind of stuff you put in a static class on a tool package, throw into all new projects. Yeah, I've not actually made. Have I made any static classes yet? I don't. I might have done. I can't remember what I've done on this project and what I've done generally. I use static classes for my work projects. But I know Unity doesn't tend to follow most of C#'s typical principles for those kind of things. because it's got its own object system. There's a few more ways of doing things. But if it was just C#, I would have definitely had a lot of static classes by now. We've got so many different scripts. We want the canvas. Level select. We'll make that visible for the moment. So I only want these to be visible or clickable or like kind of highlighted if you've unlocked this particular level. So you shouldn't be able to click continue unless there's a save file. So we need to check that. And then if you do continue and you've only unlocked level 1 and 2, level 3 should not be available until you've unlocked level 3. So it needs to... We've got the game progress object over here. That keeps all the progress. And we can read from that and determine which of these are available to the player. So level select script. So we've got game progress there. We haven't used it yet. Let's have a look at game progress. Game progress is going to be one of these objects, game progress. Now this I need to make dynamic as well, I suppose. Because at the moment these are very manually set. So it needs to kind of set these depending on how many scenes I have, rather than me actually adding it to it. But then I have to add them to the build sequence anyway, so if I'm adding them to the build sequence, I need to add them to here. But it'd be nice if it's just there. I'll just add it to the build sequence and it just adds it to this. So we need to cycle through this and unlock them if they have well, it'd be based on this really. -1 means the level is not available. 0 means the level is available. And anything greater than 0 means the level has been completed with some kind of achievement. That's what I'm kind of working with. So probably the best thing to do is have them default to none of them is available. Cycle this array. And if the value is greater than -1, set it as available to the player. So this is level medal achieved. It needs to pull. So let's make a new method up here. Public void start. Find type in progress. Would that be something I need to do? Probably not. We have a void start though. We need a void start. We don't need this bit though. Within the start, we're going to need because we need an array, an int array, to get those numbers. Okay, so what's the AI recommending? We don't want the warning in that. Game progress. What do we actually have in game progress we can use? Game progress is just a series of... oh, we do have some methods in here. We could make that as a method. Get unlocked levels will return the levels that are unlocked. Then set them. Yeah, that seems better. We actually pull that as a it's going to be a search. It's been a while since I've actually do you want this to return an array of ints where a value equals something? So we can work that out. Or the AI can do it for us. So unlock count 0 for I is equal to.
How about a hug? That's
hey, thank you for the follow on Twitch, much appreciate that. Iona, do appreciate the follow and the message that pops up because we used to get a lot of spam bots. So it used to follow and then really go, hey, check out my portfolio. No. But we've not had that for a while, sort of fingers crossed. So I might end up taking that message off. So we've got medal achieved length. So it cycles through, and if it's greater than or equal to 0, add to counts. Else break, assuming levels are unlocked sequentially. Yes. Unlock levels equals new int counts. For I equals counts plus plus. Is equal to I. Unlock levels. I think that's done the work for us there. So cycles through all of the medals. Checks whether we have a value that is greater than or equal to 0 to say that the level is unlocked. It increments the counter. It then sets a new array of int to, or yeah, new array of int to that value, cycles through this new array, adding numbers to it to say, well, level 1, level 2, level 3, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then returns that int. If we go back to level select, that is now actually a thing. So this is where we then translate that into the actual on-screen buttons here. So this is probably going to be similar to the projectiles one. So I've basically stolen the background panel from that anyway. So we could do this in a similar fashion. We could have an array of these. What are these? These are just images, really, aren't they? Or buttons. They are buttons, yeah. So we can have an array of buttons, and then cycle through that array of buttons and just have the grayed out. Well, what I was thinking eventually, rather than these numbers, just have like a screenshot of the level. And just have it grayed out. So have a grayed out screenshot or a full color screenshot to say, hey, this level is now available. So that was the that was my thinking there. Just send this message. Screenshot would be nice, yeah. So that's what I was thinking. I put these numbers in here because I already got the numbers. These are the number sprites I use for the scoreboard. So I thought, I'll throw those in there for now. But yeah, I was thinking screenshots of the levels, then grayed out if they're not active, color if they're active. So that does mean pretty much the same script as the projectile button. Where is that projectile? Where's the script for that? I think it must be here, isn't it? P for projectile. Projectile button. There we go. I'm back. What I miss? Working out what we should do with this. So, determined I would like screenshots rather than numbers. So we just got to hide these if they're not available now. Oh, great news. When Ozzy died, I was looking for a specific plushie he loved. Small dinosaur that I bought in Berlin for Donya. Even as a puppy, she was very careful with her plushies. So still perfect condition. Later, when we got Uno, Donya wanted to protect the plushie by giving it to Ozzy. Ozzy loved it, carried it around a lot. He never did that with toys. So I really needed it back. Today I finally found it. I was afraid that it got lost during the move. Really happy having it now. Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, plushies can have a lot of meaning. You think some people just dismiss them as just stuffed toys, but no, they really do have things tied to them. Just got home. Yay! How's it going? Official UG VR. Oh, Uggy. Ugg. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping in earlier. I was a little bit late to stream. Yes, very happy to have it back now. Awesome. I think get image by the locked image projects. We might be able to reuse this script for these buttons. When he died, I searched through everything in the basement with the other pet stuff. It's going to be heartbreaking to think you might have lost it. Sentimental value is way more important than anything. Oh yes, certainly. Yeah, like depending on what you believe, you can believe that sort of emotions can be directly attached to an object.
How about a hug? That's the best kind of magic.
Hey, thank you for the sub on YouTube there, Sekota? Do apologize, I'm hopeless at reading names. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well and having a Friday. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, let's attach this script to the buttons and we'll work out whether it needs a different thing applied. Because whatever we do here will be reusable against the projectiles as well. So we have a locked image, unlocked image. So that would be grayed out, full color, screenshots, and then button ID again. So let's just apply this to all of these. Actually, are these? I don't think they're actually. No, we'll do it manually. We only got one main menu level select. Select our button. Select our button. And that way we can set our images. And then for the actual level select script, we just need to do something similar to the projectile. There's a realization that if I want an actual game, then I would have to rethink my horror concept Because right now my project is just a bunch of disconnected systems which have no effect on each other. Yeah, it's fun to work out the systems, but yeah, they do need to. You got to work out how they interact and what, what they do to progress it, I suppose, including the horror element. It just isn't there, so I was thinking a more cozy simulation game instead. That's quite the change on that. So we have those. Let's number these as well. So that's 0. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Focus more on the chocolate production because the chocolate machine is what I'm most happy with. Cool. I think that was quite a cute looking game, the chocolate production. I like kind of factory type games, like where you have this thing, you plug it into this thing, and you have a process that you have to work with, and I do enjoy those kind of things. Horror genre is oversaturated in indie space. Yeah, it's very easy to try and make something that you would put into the horror genre, but it's very hard to make something good in the horror genre. Not that I've even tried, but from what I've seen, people try and they just make jump scare games with like poor graphics, poor mechanics, and it's just literally jump scare pop-up simulator kind of thing. I know what your design for a horror game sounded really really interesting, but yeah, you have to put a lot more work in to actually get it recognized as something that people want to play. Level select. Jump scare pop-up simulator, that killed me. There's bound to be a game out there that's probably being worked on called Jump Scare Pop-Up Simulator. They're all just PSX style jump scare games, yeah. Now, it's easy enough to do. Just trigger, throw something in player's face. But throw an image in the player's face, make a screaming sound, move on. Like, I like, even though it's kind of that way, I've never played it, but for something that's fairly simple, the Five Nights at Freddy's, that's very much a reactionary kind of horror game. Like, you only really have a couple of things you can do. The mechanics are very simple, and that effectively the horror comes from the jump scare at the end with one of the animatronics gets into the control room. But it's based on you, okay, looking for signs, checking cameras, go, okay, this sequence up into that sequence, into this event, react to that, stop it happening, repeat. Very simple process, but it's the whole element is knowing that one of the animatronics could be near, and when you see it's about to jump you're able to react to it, and that works. And there's a whole kind of thing based around it now. Definitely won't leave my psychological horror idea. We'll revisit it 100%. Awesome. Yeah, it's too good not to do. But certainly when you have more motivation, more time to focus on that. But definitely your chocolate factory stuff. That was very cool and cozy, and people picked that up very easily. They kind of, well, that's something I can just have a bit of fun with. Like environmental horror games with no real monster and no jump scares. Yeah, like the thrilling kind of like chill of checking your environment and sort of being scared by it is tends to get to you more than just having things jump at you. My problem stems from the fact that I'm not sure on how to handle no monster, because right now your items would just teleport, doors will open, close on their own, which is just a ghost. Yeah, if it has no direct effect on you, like the door opens and closes, cool. Like what is the consequence of this? There needs to be something that affects the player, like mechanically, I suppose. Like you could have a fear meter, for instance. I can't remember what game it is. There's a sanity meter. There's an old game that, as the sanity meter kind of dropped, I think it was, then you start to see more things and you start to go crazy as a character. So because there's no direct harm to the player, it's just the environment affects the player and affects the way you play the game. You have to try and keep your sanity by avoiding these things. Like there's no health, there's no kind of direct physical impact, but the sanity meter changing was the main kind of mechanic for it. But I never played that. I've only seen videos on game design and went, that's quite interesting. I don't think I've heard of that being done since. I had the interesting idea for a game where you get trapped by a rock slide. Have to go and go into psychosis when you believe you are keeping trapped people alive. They're just part of the psychosis. Ooh. Base game idea is just drink coffee to not hallucinate. Yeah, like, especially if coffee is a finite resource, you go, well, you don't want to be just chugging it back. You go, well, I've only got so much coffee. I'm going to have to spare this and get me through to the next area. So that becomes your mechanic then, yeah. So you think, okay, what is the game? What is the loop? What does the player have to do on repeat to continue and get to the end? So all games have to have that loop of player does this, keeps doing it, eventually wins. And for this game here, it's player keeps throwing rock at building until building has been hit enough, wins level. You can add other things into it, like you can have things that slow down the player from hitting the building. Gaslighting the player into thinking there's a threat while there is none. Yeah. That's why if you got enough to go, well, ooh, that nearly got me, I better not let it get me next time. Like you actively avoid like something falling and nearly hitting the player. You go, well, I don't want to risk it hitting me. Of course, the illusion's gone if it would never hit the player, but you don't want them to know that. It plays more on the dread of an insurmountable problem with inevitable demise, as your sources run out and you have to choose who do you think you're letting go. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, certainly give that a go. Even if you just make it a very simple, sort of low poly, bad graphic, build a mechanic for it, and then you kind of scale it up to something that looks enticing as well as plays well. Since about the art, the hallucinations made look just wrong, and there's no emotion. Which demotivates me a lot. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, when a lot of the game hinges on what it looks like. You go, well, you want it to be believable in some way. Made me focus on other parts of the game, which then led me to rethink it all. Oh. Yeah, sorry to hear that. It's never nice to have that feeling of demotivation. But if you consider what you might want it to look like and what skills you would need to practice to achieve that, or if it's rethinking the art style, you know, well, is it going to be easier to rethink how it will look to match what you can achieve? But certainly for something scary, you want it to be you want it to kind of activate the primal fears. Like as humans, faces scare us. Like we see a face in something that is not a human, that becomes scary. Like you see like a disembodied face in a shadow, that becomes more scary to us. Rather than like a chibi cartoon. You go, well, that doesn't look scary. Although you could have a really scary looking chibi cartoon if it's done in the right way. It could be shadowed. It could have a slightly disproportioned elements to the face. And sort of just having like a slow grin coming onto a cartoon face can be just as scary. Uncanny Valley is your best friend's psychological horror. Yes. Something that's nearly human, but not quite. Taps into a primal fear. That there's theories on why Uncanny Valley is unnerving to us. And I like the theory I read is that it's because at some point in human evolution, so we've had to identify things that were similar to us, but not quite. And we have to be fearful of them. The worst type of horror is where you show the least and lets the brain... Oh, the worst type of horror was in best horror, I suppose. The worst, yeah. When you least show the least and let the brain run with its... Imagine how horrifying it could be. Yeah. The more you show somebody, the less horrific it could be. Like, there's nothing more horrific than what the brain can come up with itself. Well, I've said before, the first Alien movie, they purposely did not show much of the alien until the very final act. Going to sleep now, very tired. Okay, Lisa, thanks for dropping by. It's always good to see you. Hope you have a good rest and enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you for some trying on Monday if you're up for that. Have a great rest of your stream. Thank you indeed. Thank you. We'll see you then. Good night. Have a great weekend. Oh, I love that. Everyone's saying good night. You're all an awesome lot. But yeah, I love... Like, we've had this discussion before with things like horror, that if you show a lot and it's kind of blood and guts, that's more down the gore element. So it's more of a gory horror as opposed to a psychological horror. And I tend to sort of... I like both kind of genres, but if you really want someone to be fearful... Remember when Lisa was touching the spicy water a lot? Yeah, like spicy. Do not touch the spicy water, it's not friendly. Yeah, hopefully less spicy water on Monday. This is not soup, this is dangerous. This is very hot soup. There's projectile selection. Let's copy these things up. We'll copy that and change it. If not soup, why soup shaped? Indeed. Got switching between weapons working. Nice. That's good. That's gonna be a good feeling. Level select. Level select is what I want. We'll whack this up here somewhere. This is about a dream about spicy soup. Do love a good spicy soup. So we don't want a projectile button. We want a level select button. Quite interesting new conversation horror. Yeah, we do like horror on this channel, but don't really play it. Like the last horror game I played, and the only horror game I played on stream, which is the same thing, was Alien Isolation. Now that game is built purely on... It's basically a big game of hide and seek. Because you can't fight the alien. All you can do is keep your senses alert and hide whenever it's near. And that's scary because like you can't outrun it. It's too fast and it's too powerful for you to actually do any real damage. I've seen the numbers on the you can kind of look at the variables and stuff for the alien. The numbers are too high on its health to ever be killed. There's no weapon in the game, no amount of ammo that could kill that alien. So all you can do is run and hide and just... There's even to the point if you're hiding in a locker, there's a button to hold your breath. Because your breath, the character's breathing heavily, and as the alien comes near, you have to hold a button down and it holds your breath. And you've got a little bar that decreases to how long you can hold your breath. And if you get the timing wrong and you breathe out when the alien's near, it turns, rips open the door, and kills you. And like even saving the game in Alien Isolation, like the game doesn't stop to save. You save and you have to do a sequence to save the game. And at that point, if the alien is nearby, it's going to kill you before you finish the saving sequence. It's brutal. But it makes you think. Really like environmental dread horror. Alien Isolation is a pinnacle of horror games. Yes, oh yeah. You ever seen the Korkazov videos? It's a good information-based channel that just has so many interesting things that just spark existential dread. It's amazing. I love that channel. Like their animations are cute, but their subjects are so dreadful in that way. It's that wow, I really didn't want to think about the universe in that way, but I found it interesting. Do you remember Amnesia being kind of a horror for me, but not other game though. Don't try enough maybe. I don't play a lot of horror. Like I can't chicken out. Like I'll start playing a horror game and then immediately quit and chicken. But I do enjoy the horror genre. Ha. Yeah, as is evidence, I never actually got very far in Alien Isolation. Yeah, have you ever seen a video on voids and super voids? Ooh, I don't know, maybe. I might have to go watch Quarkers Up to go to sleep, if that's a really good idea. I don't know. Yeah, I love the Alien movies and the Alien story, so I'll have to go back to Alien Isolation, because I know the story's good. So I'll have to play, even on like the lowest difficulty setting, I will have to play it. Let's have a look. I know it's broken. It is projectile button. It's projectile button, so we'll keep it as that for now. Because we're only using it for this, what I probably will end up doing is rewriting it to be more specific to the level select, but the code is close enough for me to actually use for now. So we're cycling around this, so we don't actually need to get the. We want, we want to cycle around, but unlock status comes from here. So we're cycling around that. We want to then cycle around. So it's actually we want to include that into this process now, or vice versa. So we grab the projectile button. And as it loops, we want to then grab from there. Hey, what about Blender is acting funky? Okie dokie. I like Blender. Awesome. Yeah, we usually do Blender on Wednesdays. Yeah, been making assets in Blender on Wednesdays for an upcoming project. So once I finish this project, which after today I might take a break from this project to start the next one, but I should really finish this one in its entirety before I start the next one. I can probably do some small test projects for the next one. So rather than go straight into the next project, make a series of small mechanics testers. Does that make sense? Because I've seen online where you basically just make a very simple demo of a mechanic, that just does that one mechanic, nothing else. Just make a game, very simple game, no real graphics to it, that just tests that one mechanic. And then you make another one that tests another mechanic. And once you're happy that those mechanics work in isolation, then you bring them together. Prototyping, that's the word. Oh, I love prototyping, yeah. But yeah, Blender does get very funky. So what I might do for the next Unity stream is actually start some prototyping. Because this game that I'm working on at the moment is effectively prototyping, but with no real direction. It's just, let's see if I can do this. It has it's not leading anywhere. It's just, I thought I would try making that mechanic, and then made the mechanic. Whereas the next project I've been planning for over a year, to make sure I get all my ideas down first and then make it into a thing and not make it up as I go along, which is what this was. I think this code would work. We don't need this. Because it's not about the length of the buttons. It's about the length of the what's been unlocked. Have you played Hollow Knight or Silksong? I played Hollow Knight. I got about 3 hours into Hollow Knight. I got stuck on one of the bosses, so I never finished it. Silksong looks really cool though. I'd love to finish Hollow Knight at some point and then yeah, go on to do Silksong. Very successful though, wasn't it? So, Hollow Knight was successful and Silksong took a lot of people by surprise. Well, a lot of people in the industry by surprise. Players, no. The fans weren't surprised. People in the industry were surprised because it's still an indie game. Projectile selection is where we set it here. We don't set it here, do we? Projectile button is where it gets the projectile selection. Yeah, this we might have to make a very similar modified version of this code, because this is pulling it from here. I don't want it to pull from here, so I need to make a new object. I could make this more universal, I suppose, so rather than projectile selection, I could make it another selection, but for sake of ease, I'll copy this into a new script and change it slightly. Once I look at the parallels, I can probably make a universal script that I can use in the future. But most of this, as it is, will work. It's just this thing here is very specific. The rest of it is quite it's quite generic otherwise. But it's these two lines and that. Those three lines become an issue. So we'll make a level button. We'll make a level button object, and we'll copy the code over. So we go for a new create a monobehavior script and call it level button. And we'll copy this over and change a little bit. And then we'll apply that script instead to the buttons. What are we doing for time? 2 hours 15. I'm running a little bit later today, but just want to get this in place, and then I'll put a demo in my Discord for people to download. So we've got level button scripts. Let's open that. And we go to projectile buttons, drag that over. What shirt are you wearing today? Oh yeah, I've not actually posted shirts for a while. It has a gun on it. I think it's a gun. This is Lassiter Laser Pistol MK1. It's from a sci-fi. Don't know which sci-fi it is. It might be a gun shirt, yeah. It might be something like Borderlands. It's Lassiter Industries. I know Borderlands has a lot of gun companies. But I remember I'll take a photo and put it in my Discord after the stream. It's pretty cool though. It's got almost like a schematic. Move the beard out of the way. Not sure why you can really see that. It's almost like a little tech drawing of the gun. I was wearing a Friday the 13th shirt, but I'm fully nude. That's good to hear. No, I cannot be fully nude. I am not streaming on certain platforms. What? How you wish to watch my stream is entirely up to you. Let's change that to wasn't unlocked. And we don't want the projectile selection. We will have game progress. I suppose we need an object with the projectile selection is projectile selection. Projectile selection has the so it grabs it and has a look at the rock attributes. So projectile selection is only there to get the rock attributes, really. So this could be probably streamlined a bit. But the thing is, because rock attributes is a scriptable object, I'm kind of pulling it from here. So this could be improved. Ultimately, I just want a list of what images there are. So it is these 3 lines that need changing, plus wherever they pull them from. So what we will do, we'll save that, we'll swap the scripts over. So we remove that. Remove components and level button goes in instead. Remove components, put level button instead. Make that 1. Remove that. Level button, and that becomes 2. That one becomes 3. That one becomes 4. That one becomes 5. Yo! You back? How's Blender? Saying such things pretty normal. Yeah, Kotei Kamori's very sus. Blender gave me strange issues. Currently reinstalling. Oh no. Never good when you have to reinstall. But sometimes it's necessary. I should probably update my system while I'm at it, yeah. So a lot of people are very much against updates. Like there seems to be an irrational adversity for updating stuff. Well, I'm always for updating, as long as the updates are stable and tested. I'm all for updating things. Right, so we replace that, so give that a quick save. So level select. So change that name from projectile button to level button. And change that to level button. And change that to level button. No, it's not what I wanted to do. I like updating my system at least a week or two into the month, so I know it's stable. Oh yeah, yeah. It's not wise to grab updates the moment they've dropped. I always like to give it a little bit of time. But updates are usually beneficial. Net upgrade size 114.8 meg. Ooh. Control R twice to rename all over the project. Ooh, that's a good tip. Yeah, sometimes it recommends doing that. Other times I have to do it manually. But Control R, Control for rename, I suppose. Control R rename. That's a good idea. Let's try that. So change that to L. Control R. You must rename the identifier. Oh, it's VS Code. Ah. No. Yeah, it's Visual Studio. Yeah, it's just straight up Visual Studio. Yeah. Now I'm downloading 345 packages. Ooh. Hopefully they're small ones. Sometimes, yeah, they don't be kilobytes each. Hold left control and hit R twice. Oh, okay. Let's go. So undo those ones. Ah. Rename or update one referencing file. Toggle rename suggestions. Okay. Ah, no, I did not want to do that. Alright, got the background working, so I don't have to look at default skybox. Nice. Should I explain the idea of my game? Yeah, go ahead. Any variable, class, method, etc. linked will be named. Ah, cool. Starts out with big packages, so the kernel, and then the different firmware for Intel, NVIDIA, etc. Enter to rename, shift enter to preview. You're diving into a giant hole, fighting through falling chunks of a temple to reach the monster at the bottom. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I think I might have broken it. I'll do it manually for now and do it next time. So I shall have to remember that. For every level, it has effects around the outside to make it look like you're falling, but it's all a game dev illusion. Ooh. So it's basically the player's stationary, I'm guessing, and things are moving up. You have like little whooshy effects to go, oh, things are falling past you. Yeah. Smart, I like it. Right, so we've got that. That's fine there. The level button, now we need to work out where we're pulling these images from. We want a series of images. That would be the best way of doing this. I'm asleep. Okie dokie. Hope you get some rest. I shouldn't be on for too much longer. I've gone over by half an hour. What I'm doing is completely unnecessary, but it kind of polishes it a little bit. Yeah, have a good night indeed. So we haven't got the images to actually play with anyway. So this needs to change. So we need a selection of the images. So we probably need to make an image object that will hold the images. So projectile selection has the rock attributes. So the rock attributes has different things to them anyway. So it doesn't need to be as complicated as the rock attributes, because there's a lot more to a rock than there is to a level select button. Scriptable object, isn't it? Yeah, rock attributes. Yeah, so rock attributes is a scriptable object that holds all of the rock or projectile objects. And the projectile object where are the projectiles? Okay, yeah, there they are. They are. Are they in here? They're not in prefabs. Let's make a separate folder for those. Projectiles, there they are. Yeah, so these all have a script onto them. I have a package called Screen Recorder. It doesn't work because some video encoding isn't present, which it is. I have checked so many times. Reinstalling FFmpeg didn't help. Oh, I suppose that's the downside. There we go. This is the actual. This one. Oh, great. I'm sure that's because these projectile objects. There's a script on those. Yes, they are here. They're not. Can't remember what I've done with them. But I do have a list of objects that because these are the images for the. That's the sprites. What did I do with the images? Oh, these are them, aren't they? Silly. Yeah, so they're here all along. So these are a projectile. And then the projectile has 4 audio files, a mesh, like a standard mesh, and a broken mesh. And I've not made any broken meshes yet. The idea being, on impact to the building, it will swap the mesh over to the broken mesh. Then it also has 2 sprites. It has the lock sprite and the unlock sprite. So this contains all the information for that. For this main menu level select, however, I only really need these 2 images, the lock image and the unlock image. So I need a very simplified button object as opposed to a full usable in-game object. The sound server I use detects my mic, but it also doesn't. Hard to explain. But on the alternative sound server, I couldn't get Bluetooth to work. My internal microwave is worthy sacrifice, though. How odd! That's as you say, it's the quirks of different distros that sort of you kind of have to find ones that work together. Right, let's make a new script that just has it's a button. Let's call it menu button, I suppose. Menu button? Let's call it menu button. To create a scriptable object, and call this menu button. And we'll copy the projectile. There's projectile, is over here, projectile. So you really need these 2. Get locked image, get unlocked image. Is there anything else we need from projectile? By the way, why no silhouettes on the overlay? Ah, yeah, because do I actually have it on this scene? No, because this is a different set of scenes on OBS. Because when I'm playing games, I have like a front overlay, and that has all the broken brick effects, and that overlay has the silhouettes on there. But I got rid of that for the game dev stuff because I want you to be able to read what I'm looking at without like broken bricks hanging over the windows. I don't think I've even got it in here. No, I've actually deleted it off this scene. Yeah, that's why. Because I've got makes sense, yeah. So this brick wall background is just a straight brick wall, and I have the windows set on top. And then for gaming, I have the broken wall effect with the game poking through it. Idea being is that, okay, you're experiencing a game through a wall. As weird as that sounds. Nice, yeah. So I couldn't think of any kind of cool way of doing that for this scene without impeding what I'm showing you guys. So I thought, yeah, let's just not do that. Get mesh. We don't need mesh. We don't need broken mesh. Sound effects. Get name. Don't need any of those. I don't think. Get name. No, that's fine. Simplified version. So menu button rather than projectile. And we need a menu button selection. Let's make one of those. So that's going to be equivalent to the rock attributes. So that's going to be just a series of elements. Again, might be an easy way of doing this, but we'll do it this way for now. Scripting. Scriptable objects. Menu button selection. And that's going to be a similar thing to the projectile selection. It just really has game objects. Be right back. I'm going to try and use the cell shading tutorial for my materials. Ooh. I love cell shading. Very cool effect. As well as projectile button, we shall call that menu button. Good luck indeed. I've not tried any menu buttons. Okay. Oops. Not tried any kind of shaders or anything on games yet. This is just straight straight up, kind of as it comes. Tried it once, turned out terrible. Ooh. But do that. Don't know if I need anything else there. By the way, you remember the JSON server thing I created? Yes, yeah. Let's create a create scriptable object menu button selection. And just have that as a default name. Slightly broken. By slightly, I mean almost complete. Oh no. Funny story about it. Oh dear, what did you do? Never mind, I could not find any cell shading using any additional light sources tutorial, unfortunately. Oh no, that's a shame. Level button. Button selection. Spent my whole weekend and Sunday night. I coded until late into the night. On Monday, I had to wake up around 5 a.m. and then when I was woken up, I thought I woke up and stood up and all I saw was Jason. My brain convinced me I was standing and seeing the world around me, but nope, just chess. Oh wow. That's crazy. I eventually woke up and laughed about it. I know what I did wrong here, but we'll do it this way for now. Selected the wrong thing. We can actually skip. Is that right? Button selection. Menu button selection. Menu buttons. Oh, it's rock attributes. I need the code from the line. There's that, rock attributes. Yeah, that works. Right, I might have to finish this off stream because I'm getting quite tired now. So I'll endeavour to have a demo in my Discord for tomorrow morning. I'm nearly there, but I don't think I can push myself to actually get it done tonight. When's the demo? Oh, I'll put the demo out probably tomorrow morning because there's a little bit more work than I was expecting. It's disappointing, but I wanted to change this last thing before I put the demo out. But my brain is not functioning anymore. Now I have a better head tomorrow morning. So I'll do that off stream. I'll finish this little bit. Now I'll put the demo out in my Discord and you'll see it go up. I just want to make sure these menu buttons work correctly. And then means you folks can play it without any issue then. Switch over to the main camera. So yeah, I need to be able to close my eyes, I think. Hopefully I don't wake up seeing JSON. Or C# code. Alright, I'll be waiting. Yeah, thank you for sticking with us and hanging out tonight. I'll drop it tomorrow morning. I'll do some coding anyway for work, so I'll do this and then probably sit with work stuff for a while. But yeah, hope you all have a good night tonight. I'll have a good rest. Bug Junkie wakes up seeing bugs. I will. I'll probably see bugs. Bye. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Or menus. Yeah, I've been seeing menus. Red squiggly underlines. But I appreciate you all being here. Been awesome people. Some awesome chats. Some good advice for me as well. And hopefully it's helped you stay motivated with your own projects. But I will be back on Monday doing some trying with Cultic Kamori and the Source Rex. So if you like a bit of free player shenanigans, check out Shrine on Monday. And we'll be doing some more game dev probably. Let's double check my calendar. Yeah, probably do a little bit of prototyping next Friday. And then on Wednesday I'll be doing some Blender stuff. So yeah, Trine on Monday, Blender Wednesday, game dev on Friday. Definitely be here Monday, okie dokie. We're looking forward to seeing you there. So have a good night, enjoy your weekend. And yeah, I'll put the demo out as soon as it's done tomorrow morning. You lovely folk. If you're not in my Discord, feel free to join. The link should be below. And you'll see the link to download and play it. Yeah, so I hope you have a good night. I shall see you then. Good night all.